Oscar favorites by which stars and which movies are being bowled or bared by the blogosphere. Let's learn more now and see if we can't figure out some money-making angles. With Valerie Combs from BuzzLogic.com, let's start with the Best Picture nominee, Juno.
Yes.
What's the blogosphere say?
The blogosphere, well, just to give you a sense, we look at, BuzzLogic looks at the most influential bloggers, not just blogger buzz, but what buzz is out there that's actually, impacting
How do you
people.
determine who's influential?
Exactly. How do we determine that?
Yeah.
We actually have about a dozen different ways at looking at it. So we look at, how many blogs are linking into a blogger's post. And I know you're a blogger too, so this probably makes sense to you.
Yep.
We also look at the credibility. So how many times has a blogger written about the same subject over and over again?
Okay.
So what we're seeing is, the blogosphere does love Juno. However, there are certain blogs that are, a little bit more embracing sort of Juno as the underdog than others. So some of the more kind of indie buzz type bloggers like Screenhead, Film Crunch, they're definitely gunning for Juno. However, we also have No Country for Old Men, which is really capturing the blogosphere's attention as well.
And now this is just for the people who love, like ourselves, love the Academy Awards, because
Exactly.
or do companies, businesses use this information, particularly I know for other things, but for the Oscars right now, because the votes have already been cast.
Exactly.
It has no influence on who wins or who doesn't.
Exactly. Well, our customers right now are, marketers, advertisers, people who are really trying to separate signal from noise and understanding, okay, what pockets of blogs do I need to focus on? Because there's 112 million blogs in the U.S. alone, so it's a pretty big challenge. What's interesting, it'll be interesting to see whether the most influential, attention-generating kinds of blogs have any impact or have been influencing the voters along
I
the
don't
way.
know. I would say no,
only
only because when you get like movie reviews in newspapers, they say this was going to be a terrible movie, and then it's the box office #1 movie over the weekend.
Right, very true.
The way I find this so interesting is I see parallels between this and what the sentiment surveys you get among traders. You got the investment intelligent newsletters. You've got guys that track newsletter writers. You've got guys that track the actual sentiment of money managers themselves.
Right.
And then you can sort of gauge, hey, when everybody's bearish, maybe I should be bullish. And that's where I'm going with this. If everybody's saying that Juno's going to win and it's a long shot, maybe you should be betting on Juno because there's a good opportunity there. What is the angle there with that?
Well, it's interesting because we've been tracking about 26,000 posts on this subject since early January, and it's interesting to see actually the buzz around Juno didn't really start as much until the last 4 to 6 weeks. So that's the thing about sort of the way consumer generated content kind of evolves on the web and these conversations happen. You don't know. Influence is dynamic and it changes and it moves.
Let's talk about Best Actress now.
Okay.
Cate Blanchett getting a lot of buzz out there in the blogging world.
Yes, she's very much she's a darling, definitely.
How amazing is she?
She's awesome. Are you kidding me?
Have you ever seen a movie that you walked away with afterward and you're like, oh my God, she was no good
wrong. She can do no wrong. And I haven't even seen she's 2 nominations, right? Best Actress for her work in Elizabeth the Golden Age, and then Best Supporting Actress for her work as Bob Dylan in I'm Not There. The bloggers, about 60% of the conversations that we're monitoring are actually kind of supporting her for that supporting actress statue as opposed to the Best Actress. They're actually kind of guessing that Julie Christie will probably walk away with that one.
And with some of you, for example, like with your business, even before when the nominations are going out, or when a movie is just released and the studio's trying to get buzz going, do they go to particular bloggers and say, look, here's an advance copy of the movie, check it out, get the buzz going? Do they do that?
They do. What they're finding is that a lot of these kind of up-and-coming influential bloggers actually have a lot more sway over consumers. I mean, you've got 60 million Americans who are using blogs as their go-to sources for information to help them decide, what movie to see, who to vote for, what product to buy. So
are the bloggers getting paid?
Well, now that can be kind of a tricky place to be. Exactly. Well, there's a term called blogola that has kind of emerged, and you got to be smart. You got to kind of be smart with how you do it. But
because then you lose your credibility and the whole independence that you're associated with the blogging world.
And this is an issue in traditional journalism as well. So as bloggers become more professionalized in their work, it's something that's
when.
Well,
in all seriousness, there will be the cream that rises to the top. But for the vast majority of blogs, it's junk, it's trash. It is what it is. But more people read blogs today than read Us Magazine.
Well, there you go.
Very true.
Thank you so much for being here. On Tap, we're checking in with our Minionville